Yo, what's up, all you burner stones and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Fantastic.
I love it. Hey, all you vipers out there in the world, totally for smoking some big fat doinks where you listen to the show. Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal with some Apple Banana Sundae. Given to us by our friend Midwest Terps, this strain is a hybrid cannabis variety known for its balanced effects and appealing aroma. It's a cross between apples and bananas and Sunday Driver. Users often report experiencing both uplifting and relaxing effects, making it suitable for various times of the day. The strain is also noted for its potential to enhance creativity and focus while easing stress and tension. Love it. Genetics, cross between apples and bananas and Sunday Driver. It's a hybrid 50-50 indica-sativa ratio. The THC content varies typically between 20 and 27%. The effects users report are combinations of uplifting, euphoric effects with relaxation and potentially for increased focus and creativity. The flavor and aroma is described as creamy, sweet, fruity with hints of banana and other tropical notes. The dominant terpenes are limonene, caryophyllene, and ocimene, are often mentioned contributing to the strain's therapeutic properties and aroma. Potential benefits may help with stress relief, mood enhancement, pain alleviation, and anxiety reduction. Considerations due to its potency, it's recommended for experienced cannabis users or for those with lower tolerances to start with low dose. That is Apple Banana Sundae, given it to us by our friends Midwest Terps, and we thank you for throwing to the cause.
Always.
Did we smoke this when we had them here on the show?
I've never smoked that before.
Really?
Apple. Oh, I think when they were here, we did smoke this together.
I think we did smoke it.
I think we did.
It was one of the joints we rolled.
Yep.
There were so many that night.
There were so many.
But yeah, this was. But it was a long time ago. We hadn't smoked it just us, you and I. You know, so I'm super excited about smoking this, and like I said, Midwest Terps sent me a picture of his latest grow. And he sent me a picture, and he wanted me to say when he stops by to hang out, we're going to put one of the buds under the microscope because he had sappiness going on. And I'll talk about it on a later show, but he had this big, whopping ball of sap. And not trichome production, not trichomes busting out into sap. This was straight sap. Brownish, reddish sap, like tree sap.
That's very unusual.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures of it before from other growers too, but this was pretty pronounced. It was a nice big, like smaller than a pea, I guess you would say. That's how much was on there. It pushes up through the stem into from the root,
kind of
and then just
drips out of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's no THC in it, you know, but I had talked with him. I said, would it give it flavor? We didn't discuss more. He sent me an article to read about it. So maybe on the next show, I'll read about it. So if you ever get some sap, we can learn about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I would ever think that it was sap that was on there.
I showed you the picture of it, right?
Yeah. But I'm saying like, if I didn't know that was possible,
yeah,
I would probably think it was like, oh my God, this is the juiciest flower I've ever grown.
It kind of looked like heavy. It looked like tree sap. Like what you would see from a pine tree.
Like maple syrup.
Yes, 100%. Look exactly like that. So, but I'm looking forward to getting a nug and putting it under the microscope and really take a peep at it. So it'd be kind of fun. Real quick, let's talk about 8decades.com, Mrs. Weedman.
Yes. Go visit our site, 8decades.com. That's spelled EIGHTDECADES. 8decades.com for all of your cannabis consumption needs. We have accessories for the consumer. We have hemp clothing. We have totes. We have a link to donate to the Last Prisoner Project. We have Weedman 420 swag.
Hey.
And you may not know, maybe you do. 8 Decades is all about stomping the stigma. There have been 8 decades of cannabis prohibition. We don't want there to be a 9th, so we created products that start the conversation. They look nice, they're high quality, and they are your forever cannabis goods.
Yes.
So take a look.
Yes. And you, by supporting 8decades.com, you support the show, and you help us be able to do this show weekly, and we appreciate you all out there who support the show. Thank you. So check out 8decades.com, everybody. Some very, very sad news today.
Yeah.
Unbelievably sad news today. One of Mr. Weedman's ultimate favorite bands of all time lost their lead singer today. Ozzy Osbourne passed away. But I am not sad in a lot of ways because I got to see Ozzy and Black Sabbath 4 times in my life, and that's awesome. Ozfest 3 times, and then their final tour a few years back, and then they did their final show last week or 2 weeks ago, I think it was. And everybody who played leading up to Ozzy and then Black Sabbath it was amazing, an amazing show. I mean,
you didn't go to that.
No, I watched
Just to
it.
clarify.
I did go. I wish.
Yeah,
I watched.
that would have
I
been
watched the.
a dream.
I didn't watch live. We were at the beach today. It was happening, but I watched stuff on YouTube, and I watched basically almost like 85% of the whole entire thing. I mean, every heavy metal band that I grew up with and loved were played there. And then you had the ultimate Black Sabbath, the creators of heavy metal.
Yeah. Was it a multi-day?
No,
show?
It was one day.
Wow.
One day.
Just
and
jammed
it was
in
just
there.
some great bands and some
cool.
great music, some great tributes to Black Sabbath and to Ozzy. And then Ozzy went on stage and performed his last show. Sat in a chair, his beautiful throne that he gets to sit in, and they played phenomenally. Now, did Ozzy have his voice that he had? I will tell you this, he sang very well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he sang very well for having Parkinson's and being 2 weeks
and frail
till his deathbed,
Yeah.
Being passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So it was amazing that he got to give his heart to what he loved one last time and to rest in peace and rest in power and rest in music. Ozzy, you, to me, you were one of my all-time favorites since I was a kid. I mean, I grew up listening to your music. It's always in my playlist. I mean, War Pig is one of my favorite songs of all time. How many times have I played this song? And Mrs. Weedman will probably tell you a story when we saw him in Lollapalooza.
Mm-hmm. That was Black Sabbath.
That was Black Sabbath.
And when they started singing War Pigs, we ran like a mile, it felt like, really fast. It was me chasing after Mr. Weedman, who was destined to the stage from one side of Grant Park in the city all the way to the other, north
0 to
to
60
south.
in 2 seconds.
I'm like, where are we going? What's going on?
Can't
Oh
you
my
hear
God.
it?
Total lunatic. People were like, dude, chill. There was no chilling him out. You were very
Because I
happy.
hadn't seen Ozzy. That was
Probably about
Lollapalooza 20. I can't remember the year they played at Lollapalooza, but the last time I saw was at Ozfest in 2002 in Alpine Valley.
So it was probably like 10 or 15 years. Yeah.
10,
10
probably
years.
10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh. And then I got to see him one last time, like I said, their final tour.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2017 or 2018, I can't remember. And I have a very good friend, a very good stoner friend, a guy I worked with for a long time. I mean, this guy can smoke weed from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock in the morning. JP, we'll just call him JP. And he loves. He got to meet Ozzy a few years back. They flew to England and saw it. I mean, the moment I saw he passed away, the first person I texted was him.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't. I mean, he had on his desk. He had like Ozzy bobbleheads and just a craziness. So, Ozzy, Black Sabbath. My gosh, the music that you put, the consistency that you've done. You had a crazy life. I mean, just the shit that you did, the stories that I've watched, your documentaries, the show, yeah, just amazing. I'm heartbroken, but also very happy. The feeling that I get every time I hear your music. Thank you for everything you've done for the music industry, for your fans, for the people around the world. Your music will live on every day in my car. It will live on in other people's cars. People will be probably playing tributes as of today because it is actually 7/22/2025 at 8:54 p.m. So I'm sure there's a cover band right now playing an Ozzy Osbourne song and probably playing Mama, I'm Coming Home. So, I mean, just, I got the chills. Love you, Ozzy. Rest in peace, brother. Hopefully I get to hear you again one day in heaven. So, rest in peace. Now, the fun talk. All right. So this story might take a little bit, but this story will make you all, I mean, literally, this is fucked up, but it's fucking funny. And I'm going to tell you this. So Mr. Weedman was recording the Grow Hour with Big Earl, and we had a special guest, Terp Fiend. He's been on the show 5 or 6 times now on the Grow Hour. Amazing grower, breeder. Just always a good hour and a half. This was an hour and 45-minute show. He talked and gave his knowledge for an hour and 45 minutes, and it was awesome. So in the middle of the show, I would say we were about maybe 45 minutes into the show. You come downstairs with a popsicle mocktail that we had created from the week prior episode that you read that article about making popsicles.
I read the article about popsicle
Right.
mocktails, but I just made a mocktail.
You made a mocktail out of the popsicle recipe.
Yes,
Right.
kind of, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
You doctored it. We had infused honey that we thought was the whole jar was 100 milligrams. We'll start with that, right? So Mrs. Weedman we're in the middle of recording, brings down the mocktail, never done before. Like a show we've ever done has never been interrupted like that. Like,
Yeah, I know. I just walked in. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm walking
who cares?
in.
It's a podcast. And
Special delivery.
Right. And you deliver me a mocktail, and I was like, hey, everybody, Mrs. Weedman gave me a mocktail. You're like, I used that honey. I'm like, cool. I'm thinking it's 10 milligrams, right?
That's what I thought.
That's right. And I'm drinking it, like talking during the show, drinking it, loving this drink, going, I got a drink. I got a drink. It's so good. I was all happy. Drink the drink. We're about an hour and 15, hour and 10 minutes into the show now, right? And all of a sudden I'm like, and I was smoking, I smoked earlier in the show, probably like the first 15 minutes of the show and then another 15 minutes in the show, get me good and zooted because I don't have to talk much on the grow hour. I have more questions and then listening. So I'm like, I get a little bit more higher. I don't have to really be so in tune with like focusing. I can get really high and because I have experts teaching me. So it's really cool. And all of a sudden we're an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes. And I'm like, oh, what the? I'm thinking this in my head while Terp Fiend's talking.
Cocktail is gone.
I'm like, cocktail's done. There's hoppy refresher in there now because I wanted the fruit flavor and the ice. So I'm just probably getting some more residual of the honey that's in there, right? That might be left in the bottom. So I drank it second time now. All right. I am now like an hour and 15 minutes in. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, how much did she put in this drink? Hour and 30 minutes in, I can't talk at all. Literally like frozen to the chair. Now I'm in panic mode because I don't know.
You're the moderator.
I'm the moderator. Thank God I had Big Girl because
Yeah.
Big Girl had bulk of the talk because he's more knowledgeable on some of the stuff him and Terp were talking about. So which I love because I just get to learn and listen to really good growers and breeders. So I am now really fucked up. And Terp said something, and I looked at him. I said, "Yo, that honey got me. I'm doing the one-eyed Jake all the way home." And he starts laughing, and I am like, I think I texted Earl, going, "Hey, dude, I'm not gonna make this finish this up strong." So he just puts laugh out loud. Okay, great. Thanks, Earl. Thanks for the talk. So we always joke about the end of the show saying, "Don't forget the CalMag." Right? It's a joke in the grower industry when someone asks, "Hey, something's wrong with my plant. What do I need to do it?" Someone always goes, CalMag, bro. So we always end the show with this funny little couple sentence phrases and then goes into, "Oh yeah, don't forget the CalMag." And I'm like, "Don't forget the CalMag. Peace." I was so high I forgot that we had to do that too. And Terp kind of took over a little bit because I think they saw I was kind of melt. If you watch from an hour and 20 into an hour 45 minutes in, you will see my chest shaking a little bit. If you can see it through the sweatshirt, my chest is shaking. My blood pressure dropped.
Yeah,
I took too much. And my chest is shaking, bouncing up and down like this, up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm like, I'm just now in my head, trying to fucking play out this scenario, try to finish. I'm like, will you fucking stop shaking your chest? Will you stop doing this? Just act normal. Act normal. Fucking act normal. Fucking whacked. I am so zooted. I haven't been that high. And we just talked about it on the prior episode about weed hangovers and mixing alcohol and weed and getting the hangover. And we just talked about, and we talk about so many times on the show about overdoing it, start low, go slow, all that kind of stuff, right? I thought I was getting 10 milligrams.
I thought I was getting 10 milligrams.
Right.
I thought I gave you 10 milligrams.
Hold on, we'll get to your point in a second.
Know.
So we're ending the show, and I'm like, oh, it's all about the honey, guys. And they just like, what is he talking about? I'm like, the honey got me. I'm done. Let's just end the show right now, please. Right, right at the end of we were done basically. It was like, we have to end the show. I'm done. I can't even focus. I can't see the screen. I can't see nothing. So all of a sudden, you hear me ending the show, and you come down like, it's all my fault. And then you go, are you as high as I am? Like, I am fucking. And I'm out of my mind.
Yeah.
I can't see so good. I'm done. And they're Earl and Terp are now laughing,
cracking up.
Yeah, laughing, hysterical. And I'm like, so Terp's like, we're all good, right? I'm like, yeah, we're good. Earl starts trying to talk to me. I'm like, I can't even talk to him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm like, dude, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I gotta go.
Did you close out the show?
Oh yeah, we ended
like...
the show. But I stopped my conversations with both of them, and I'm like, I gotta
just
go.
Done.
Then I'm staring at the screen. I don't know how to turn anything off. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm literally lost. I'm like, I need to go sit down. I need to get out of this room. I need to go get some fresh air. I am fucking ripped. So I get up and I go upstairs, and there's Mrs. Weedman. Take over and tell your side of the story now, Mrs. Weedman.
So this infused honey was in a little glass jar, and it said 100 milligrams. It was a homemade honey, so that's all it said. My thought was this whole jar that was probably like a 4-ounce glass jar. The entire quantity was 100 milligrams total.
Right.
That's what I thought. So I have a little sugar spoon. So I was like, it's probably a half teaspoon, maybe even a third of a teaspoon. So I thought I'll put one of those in each of our drinks. That should be like a tenth of this jar, 10 milligrams. No problem. It probably even less than a tenth of the jar. So, I mean, it like took off, like skim the top. So when I dropped the first spoonful in, it was real runny. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, I go back. I'm like, I'll put the second spoon. I go to do that. And I was like, oh, wait, this part of the honey is thicker. And I'm like, wait a minute. You have to, like, I've never had to stir honey doesn't separate. So I've never thought to stir honey. Well, I think what happened was a majority of the distillate or whatever the carrier for the THC was sitting at the top. So I think that first spoonful was probably 100 milligrams or close to it. Long story short, they were delicious cocktails. We enjoyed them. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting at my computer up at the top of the basement stairs, like near the kitchen, and I'm sitting there and I'm working. Mr. Weedman's down in the studio and he's recording. You can kind of hear bits and pieces of what he's talking about if I really, wanted to listen. And I'm working and I'm like, I had smoked. So I was like, wow, I wonder what I don't even remember what I rolled. This is really strong weed. I think I had something, it was one of Igneous's. And I was like, it's usually not that, like, his stuff doesn't hit me, like, in the head like that. If I just have, like, 3 hits, I should be all right. I'm like, I was like, oh, geez, that's the drink. The drink has kicked in. And then all of a sudden, it was like, it just freaking
like
hit me.
Ton of bricks.
I was higher than I have ever been, and it was terrible, absolutely terrible. I was in the fetal position. I'm like, I can't even sit here. I think I'm dying. I think my heart's gonna fall out of my chest. I don't even know what's happening right now. Oh, I think I'm gonna puke. I don't know. I need to sleep. I don't know what I need to do. I was like, blah. So I go over to the couch and I'm in the fetal position, rolled up in a ball. I had my hood or a shirt, something over my head. So like I have to have fresh air. So like just my mouth could get fresh air and my nose. Oh my gosh. And I could hear Mr. Weedman melting in the basement. I'm like, I wonder how he's doing. And I was like, oh, I can hear him just melting on the show. I hear him and I could hear, I knew he had the shakes because I've seen that happen before. Mm-hmm. When he has too much cannabis, that's like his first outwardly response is that he gets the shivers, the chills.
You call them the shiver me timbers.
Shiver me timbers, yeah. And I was like, oh, I think he's shivering. And that's when I came down here. So I think that was before I made my way to the couch to lay down. And then I laid down and I just knew that you were falling apart on the show and I felt so terrible. And then I was laying on the couch and I was starting to get paranoid and I'm like, oh no, we're both going to die. And the evidence is there, like the honey's there, all the stuff is out. But it's going to be like, I like killed my spouse because it's on video that I've brought him this beverage. So it's like a murder-suicide. Fuck. This is just bad. This is all bad. And I'm like, I think this is when people go to the emergency room. I think I understand now. I get it. Because I feel like death.
We knew not to go to the emergency room.
Right. But it was that moment where it was like, oh, the way my heart was feeling and the way just like, blah, I was just like all over the place and I was nauseous, but I'm not going to vomit. It was like this weird stomach thing and the whole thing was just fucking shitty. And I just would remind myself, no, Susan, you're just fucking baked. You're fucking baked. It's going to go away. Chill out. You're not dying. You're all good. Close your eyes. Wake up in an hour. You'll be better.
Oh, no.
Well, no.
You were high till
No, I was high
till 2:00 the next day.
I had a very important work meeting the next day with people that I had not met before. And I was having waves of like being really high.
Oh, yeah.
It was like,
All day.
whoa, I'm high again. And then it was like, okay, no, I'm good. Oh, I'm fucking high. That happened. Like mid-meeting, I get a question and I'm like, duh. Could you repeat that? It took me a minute. So, people, even an experienced stoner, I will call myself a stoner. I think I'm there. We still have a max, and it's not pleasant.
100 milligrams.
It is not pleasant.
It's not
but
100
I will
milligrams.
just tell you, remember, you're not gonna die.
Yeah, you're not
Just
going to die.
ride it out and
yeah.
just keep because that's the thing with weed. It's not being drunk. Like you still are of sound mind.
Yeah.
It's just
my
I
thoughts
couldn't
were-
control these feelings I was
couldn't
having.
control some
But my
body motions.
thinking,
My thinking
was
fine, yeah.
okay.
I finally got myself. So when I came upstairs to check on you, you were laying on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
I sat next to you, and the couch lock set in.
Oh, we couldn't get off the couch
I
to go
couldn't
upstairs.
move. My hands.
I don't
were-
even know.
my
Did we
hands-
crawl up the stairs?
No.
We
So-
walked?
Yeah, we walked. But so now I sat down with Mrs. Weedman. I'm asking if she's okay. And like, nope. Okay. So I put my head back, and I am like very, very like couch locked to the point my hands were like
Clenched.
locked. Yeah, they were clenched. And I'm just like, so then all of a sudden, guess who needs to go outside? About an hour later, someone's nudging me, Yuki. But that helped. I went and got some fresh air, walked around a little bit, but still very high because I went and sat down next to you after I got Yuki in, and the next wave hit. I felt it hit. It was like, oh, it's coming harder this time. Next thing you know, I close my eyes. I wake up. It's 2:30 in the morning. And all of a sudden, I wake you up. I'm like, you okay? You're like, what time is it? I'm like, 2:30 in the morning. You're like, oh, shit. I'm like, let's try to get up to bed. I walked in
right to
front
bed.
of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even brush our teeth. We didn't go in the
Nothing.
bathroom. We went and next thing you know, my alarm goes off at 7:45 for work to get ready for work. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I am not getting up. I reset my alarm for 8:30. Woke up at 8:30. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not getting up. 9 o'clock. Finally, I'm like, I gotta go to work. I have a meeting at noon at 11. I finally got up, got ready, my ass ready, like moving slow. It was like, that was my
It was
morning.
bad.
Get in the car, have to drive. Now I'm not like I was that night, but the residual effects is there. I make it down to my meeting, get on time, and did my meeting. Miserable, but did it. I told the two guys, they're in the cannabis industry. Told the two guys what happened. They're laughing fucking hysterical. Got through the meeting. Wasn't really like my mind wasn't there. I didn't want to think about numbers at the time, but I had to get through it. So got through it. Then started making my way home. Stopped at a few accounts on the way home. Told the story to a few people. They're all laughing at me, hysterical. They're like, "How's Mrs. Weedman?" I'm like, "She's got a meeting right now. She's probably feeling the shit I'm feeling right now still too." Everybody's laughing. It's fucking funny. It is. It's hilarious because even though we're cannabis consumers and we are used to cannabis in our bodies, we smoke every day, we eat edibles every night. There's still a limit to what we can take in. Our bodies, my body, and I've said this, I'm a lightweight. I'm not meant for 100 milligrams. And when the next day, before we had dinner, we took the honey out and we opened the jar up. I'm like, that's all distillate on top, or whatever they made
because
it
there's
with.
still like a nice layer of
I'm like, did you stir this? You're like, no, not really. I just dipped it in, scooped it out. I'm like, oh, you whacked us.
But I also don't think that was a 100 milligram jar. I think
it's 1,000 milligram jar.
I think we each probably had 50 or 100 milligrams.
Right. And I think you wrote 100 milligrams on there, not the person who gave it to me, because when you gave it to me, I'm like, I think he told me 100 milligrams. You're like, okay, I'll write 100 milligrams on it. I bet you it was 1,000 milligrams.
I bet.
Oh my gosh. So now if we use that honey again, it's going to be
Much
mixed
differently.
thoroughly and basically like a half of
Like a RSO
actually,
portion.
I think he made it with RSO.
Oh,
I think he made it with RSO.
that's possible.
So
It has that it had that RSO kind of
consistency to it too, yeah.
like that potency. When
you take RSO, especially if you're a newbie beginner or even somebody that's a lightweight, you're only supposed to take a size of a rice grain.
Yeah.
You can go a little more than the rice. I could probably take a little bit more than the rice grain, but holy smokes, we took probably like 10 rice grains.
I took like a long grain rice grain. Not good.
Right.
Not as bad as this honey experience, but
see, just to show that Mr. and Mrs. Weedman, I've said it for 6 years, we are not experts. We are learning to help others learn. We're learning to grow. We're learning to learn about cannabis, and we make mistakes. There's sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and I hope this story helps you and makes you laugh a lot at us because we are fools and we just
well, it's like a classic tale of homemade
100%.
infused goods.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, all of it. You could do some ratio calculations and and they might be accurate.
And everybody's gonna say, "Why don't you try CBD?"
Yeah.
We couldn't move.
We couldn't.
You don't
move.
understand. There was no. I didn't want. I just wanted to like go lay down, and I don't know if I have 100% CBD
we didn't have
in the
any
house.
100%.
I have ratios in the house. So that's another thing too. I don't
Everything
have
was
straight
full
CBD.
spectrum.
Yeah, everything's full spectrum too. So, I have like a 20-to-1 gummy that might have helped, but at that moment, I just wanted to lay down next to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't do anything that you're supposed to do when you're too high.
I went outside.
You went outside for a
minute.
minute.
I drank cold water, and I asked you if you wanted a cold compress. You're like, I want nothing right now. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Oh, shit. So, always know your dose. And what is the rule? Start low and go slow, which Mrs. Weedman thought we did.
I really thought I was doing okay.
It happens to the best of us, everybody. Oh, hope you enjoyed that funny story because I'm going to be laughing about that and telling that story for a very long time. Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
You ready to get the show started?
Let's do it.
All right. Cannabis cuts migraine symptoms in first placebo-controlled trial. So peep this. At the American Headache Society meeting at Minneapolis on July 10th, 2025, they dropped the study that got Dizzy Lizzy and migraine sufferers everywhere doing a double take. The study set up 92 migraine headache warriors, mostly women, around 41. Each walked through vaporizer training and used a custom app for tracking. They did crossover design, 4 different puff sessions over separate migraine attacks, 6% THC, 11% CBD, a combo of both or placebo. No other meds allowed before the 2-hour check. Then rescue triptans allowed after. Now, let's break down those numbers. This is where it gets lit. At the 2-hour mark, THC alone delivered pain relief at 69% of users. THC and CBD combo similar at 67%. CBD solo came in at 57%. The placebo, just 47% reported relief. But hold up. Pain freedom, zero pain, was where the combo shined. 34.5% hit freedom with THC and CBD combo, beating placebos at 15.5%. That's nearly triple the chance. And what about migraine's worst bits, like light sensitivity, noise, nausea? Combo killed that too. Nearly 60% relief versus 34.5% on the placebo. THC and CBD alone didn't climb as high. They even tracked photophobia and phonophobia. Both saw gains with combos versus placebo. Nausea, not as much difference, but still a trend. Side effects, got to keep it real here. THC brings on sleepiness, euphoria, and some cognitive slowdowns. But in the combo group, it was chill. Less high, less brain fog than the THC alone. CBD mellowed it out. No paranoia, no ER visits, no serious adverse events. Good vibes only. Sorry, I'm just laughing because this is what we just talked about, ER visits. Good vibes only. So what's the doc's take? Dr. Schutzer from USCD said, start with triptans or CGRP inhibitors first. Use cannabis only when those don't cut it. And definitely limit use, like under 10 times a month, because overuse can lead to rebound headaches. Now, reaction from the pros. Dr. Starling over at the Mayo Clinic threw props at the trial. The blinding was solid. But she added, we need bigger follow-ups, more centers, and long-term safety data. So what's the verdict? We got real science on cannabis easing migraine pains and symptoms. First ever placebo-controlled vape study. Combo THC CBD is doing the most. Heavy psychoactive hit. But doctor's advice is to tread light. Use only when other meds don't or they flop. Don't overdo it and stay in the safety zones. This study's a wake up that cannabis can help migraines. Just got to use it smart. Always chat with your doc. Watch frequencies and ride the mellow wave responsibly. That's big. I mean, Dav Boy, who used to do the show with us, he gets bad migraines and he uses that and his bad back are the two biggest reasons why he uses, and plus he likes it. The three biggest reasons why he uses cannabis. Him and his back alley deals. San Diego scientists are trying to unlock the secrets of cannabis.
Yes.
Ms. Weedman's going to tell us about it, everybody.
Yep. The cannabis plant has been used for a millennia as a mind-altering drug and medicine for many ailments. Prohibition in the United States forced it underground, but never prevented its continued cultivation or hybridization. At San Diego's Salk Institute, Professor Todd Michael and his research team genetically sequenced 193 strains of cannabis to try to understand just what it's capable of. We have this very important crop that people have been using for thousands of years, and people know very little about it, Michael said. Turns out, what we discovered is the plant has a massive amount of potential that we have really just started to understand and really build the tools to try to tap into. Michael showed us around a small lab at Salk, where his genetic sequencing machines reside. In the lab, he works to unlock the secrets of cannabis. Information about the collection of cannabis genomes made from those 193 sequences was published in a recent edition of the journal Nature. Michael said he sequenced thousands of plants, yet cannabis is the most interesting. He wants to understand the plant's many ways of making cannabinoids. Those are the chemical compounds that can alter our minds and bodies. Of them, the best-known cannabinoid is tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, the one which makes you high. But there are many more, created by a common molecular pathway. Those additional cannabinoids require a lot of abbreviations to describe. CBD, CBG, CBC, all of these cannabinoids that we want. We can actually manipulate the pathways and make many different types of cannabinoids, which we now call minor cannabinoids, Michael said. Those cannabinoids which are not psychoactive interact with a set of human receptors called the endocannabinoid system. Some minor cannabinoids have proven to be pretty powerful. Cannabidiol, or CBD, can control epileptic seizures. Anecdotal evidence shows it helps treat anxiety and chronic pain too. University of California, San Diego recently studied whether CBD could reduce disruptive behavior in boys with severe autism. Igor Grant, director of the university's Center for Medicinal Cannabis Research, said the results of the study were not definitive, but they were encouraging. About 2/3 of the kids who got CBD were rated as improved overall by the clinicians, and only 1/3 that got the placebo were seen as improved overall, Grant said. Phylos Bioscience, based in Oregon, breeds many varieties of cannabis that can be grown from seed. And we have part of our breeding program dedicated to creating new clonal cultivars that have higher levels of minor cannabinoids like THCV or CBC, said Alicia Holloway, the chief scientific officer at Phylos. She also said one cannabinoid with a pretty good story is THCV. It's the psychoactive THC minus a couple of carbon atoms. It's been called diet weed because it gives you kind of the opposite of the munchies. Holloway said Phylos did a clinical trial that showed THCV was energizing and reduced the appetite, so they bred a plant with plenty of it. And we worked on identifying genetic markers that could help us select for plants with higher levels of THCV, Holloway said. And we developed plants that now have 20% THCV. There's a lot of excitement around cannabis these days. Hemp production is legal again, too, thanks to the changes to the 2018 U.S. Farm Bill.
That's pretty big. 20% THC.
Yeah, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Send me that.
I want that. Yeah. Igor Grant wonders if cannabis deserves all of the attention, though. He said many plants have molecules that could have positive effects in humans. Maybe we've discovered them in pot because its psychoactive effects have captured our attention. We as humans, he says, throughout recorded history, have sought to change how we feel, right? And so cannabis is one way to do that. Alcohol is another way. Opioids are yet another way, Grant said. Michael disagrees. He said the relationship between cannabis and cannabinoid receptors in the brain and the body make this plant different. He went on to say, I would say that it's more than just we like to get high. This plant makes something that invades not only our consciousness, but our well-being, Michael said.
I'd like to thank Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
Personally. Thank you, Michael, for sticking up for the plant.
Michael adds that cannabis is also easy to grow, producing high yields with minimal treatment. And it's good for producing other things like hemp fiber or cooking oil. So, more and more. That's the end of the article. I thought there was more. I've read it already, but so it'll be interesting. You know, as we always say, more research is needed. It's like there's all of this research. There's a lot of conclusions about a lot of things, but there's still a lot of like really basic things that we just don't know.
Right.
So it'll just
keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Yeah.
Medical marijuana is an effective treatment option for chronic pain patients, improving quality of life, new study shows. All right, fam, we're rolling smooth through this episode, keeping the vibe alive. Up next, we got a heavy hitter. Medical marijuana and chronic pain. A fresh study just dropped in pharmacy, and it's looking mighty fine. So here's the setup. Researchers from Leafwell and George Mason analyzed data on 5,242 chronic pain patients, not 24, not 5, 5,242. 3,943 were using medical cannabis for at least a year, and 1,299 had no recent use. The results, pure science, pure impact. Cannabis users had significantly fewer urgent care visits, down 2 percentage points. And ED visits down 3.2 percentage points, plus fewer unhealthy days per month. Hospitalizations dropped too, though that one hovered just under statistical significance. Most importantly, users self-reported better quality of life, less pain, and what's Mr. Weedman's favorite thing? L-I-V-I-N. Get to living or
Better
get to
living.
dying. Better living, more living. L-I-V-I-N. Dr. Mitchell Duche, lead author, said, this is the first of its kind data showing cannabis isn't just lifting mood, it's reducing healthcare usage and boosting well-being. That's big, saving doc visits, trips to the ER, and improving lives. He sees medical cannabis as a legit treatment option for chronic pain, not just a patch. Now, Leafwell is the telehealth player offering med cannabis certifications across 36 states. They pulled real-world data, no lab trials, but real patient stories. That's fresh. That's real talk. If you've been dealing with chronic pain and leaning heavy on urgent care, maybe cannabis could be your chill switch. Quality of life, fewer quick fix visits, more stable days. That's why Mr. Weedman don't go to the doctor. And there's vibes with broader findings. Other studies show that THC CBD formulas trim down opioids, improve mental health, physical scores over time. Cannabis ain't just easing pain. It's unlocking the door to the rest of your life without the haze of hospital runs. Here's a side note. No major side effects flagged. A few bumps here and there, like drinking too much honey, but nothing wild reportedly by the study. That's important, low risk, high reward. So here's the lowdown. Medical cannabis is showing up as an effective for chronic pain management, not just chill medicine. It cuts ER visits, cuts urgent care, and brings back quality of living, a patient's dream. But remember, we got to do it right. Talk with your doc, check your use, stay legal, and avoid overuse. It's all about responsibility. Responsibilities. And it's all about that what? L-I-V-I-N. Right, Mrs. Weedman? Get to living or get to dying.
Or get to dying.
Yep. Here's something really cool. And this is not about THC. There's a cannabis compound out there that may reverse serious effects of aging. I'm running to the beauty supply store and getting me some of this. Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
Cannabis has long been studied for its therapeutic benefits. The plant's compounds have previously shown potential as a neuroprotectant, and new research illustrates strong evidence. A study from the Salk Institute found that cannabinol. I'm high because
CBN?
I'm reading ahead of myself.
Yes. Are you? You're really high?
Yeah. So,
Thanks, Midwest Terps.
Yeah, but clear. But
Yeah.
my brain just wants to go.
Go.
Or my mouth just wants to. All right. A study from the Salk Institute found that cannabinol, or CBN, a mildly psychoactive cannabis compound, may go beyond just preventing some effects of aging, like cognitive decline. They found that CBN has the potential to reverse it. I need some. The peer-reviewed study, which was published in Redox Biology, looked at the effects of CBN on age-associated cognitive decline and metabolic dysfunction using the SAMP8 mouse model of accelerated aging. The researchers found that CBN not only improved the memory of the aged mice, but also that it restored markers of brain function. Even more, cognitive impairment in older adults has been linked to mitochondrial dysfunction. And this study found that CBN also enhanced key aspects of mitochondrial function in the mice. Prior studies have shown that in cell culture, CBN can preserve mitochondrial membrane potential, enhancing antioxidant defenses. However, the study provides in vivo evidence of CBN's potential to mitigate age-related cognitive decline. While our cell culture studies suggested that CBN might be effective in vivo, it was really exciting to actually see these beneficial effects in aging mice, which indicates that further studies with CBN are warranted, said Pamela Maher, PhD, a senior author of the study, in a statement sent to Green State. In the study, the researchers included 3 groups of SAMP8 mice, one serving as the younger control group, one as the aged control group, and one as the treatment group. The treatment group of mice all received CBN in their diet for 4 months. The CBN was provided by FloraWorks, a cannabis supplier and research company. While the study found that CBN improved spatial memory and learning in aged mice, it was most pronounced in females. They found that CBN's potential to reduce disinhibition, a measure of executive function impairment, was most evident in males. This finding indicates that CBN not only supports learning and memory, but also promotes executive function. These findings place CBN as a promising agent for mitigating age-related cognitive decline and associated metabolic disruptions, particularly in preserving mitochondrial function during aging, wrote the study authors in the paper. The sex-specific differences in response to CBN treatment suggest that CBN's molecular I can't say that one. CBN's molecular effects may be gender dependent, which warrants further investigation into the underlying mechanisms. It is too soon to draw a conclusion about CBN's impact on age-related cognitive declines in humans, but the study provides promising evidence that calls for what, Mr. Weedman? More research.
More research.
That's really interesting, though, and what it makes me wonder, because cognitive decline is gradual and continual. Mm-hmm. So I wonder, do you have to maintain taking this is what the kind of science that and research I think is really important. Like, do we reach a point where THC has healed whatever it is that we need to heal, or CBN, would it actually repair the brain enough that you don't need to take it long term? Is it a short term thing? Those are the things that will be.
That means?
More research.
More research.
But I think that kind of answer is really far off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You need a lot more research for that.
Yeah.
Imagine if you end up as a baby again because you took too much CBN over the years.
We got like the Benjamin Button syndrome. We all like reversed.
And you start over.
Oh my God. I don't know if I'd want to live for like 200 years. But maybe if everybody did.
That'd be fun.
Unless you're surrounded by people that you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, all over again.
Another 100 years with you? Can I go to a different planet?
All right, fam. We got a spicy one for you. Roadside test for cannabis impairment getting called out by Law Pro as straight up pseudoscientific. Professor William McNichol from Rutgers Camden dropped this hot take in the Journal of Studies of Alcohol and Drugs, and it's a real eye-opener. So check it out. When booze is involved, BAC test or solid science. You blow, you know how impaired you are. But for cannabis, it's a little messy. Testing blood or saliva for THC or is it metabolites does not correlate with how high or impaired some actually is. That sucker can linger in your body for days or weeks, long after the buzz is gone. Then you got those DREs, drug recognition experts, with their cousin wires in workplace settings. They eyeball pupil size, muscle tone, vitals, coordination. McNichol calls it police science, not real science. They even squeeze limbs to test muscle tone, something no legit doc would do. And get this. In a 1998 lab study, those DRE protocols were wrong 45.5% of the time. Almost 50-50 coin toss. An agreement between officers evaluating the same person. Only 69% consistency. Hardly rock solid. So what's McNichol saying we do? He's calling for a total flip. Quit pretending these tests are legit. We need science-backed tools, like a new psychomotor test or biomarkers that actually match functional impairment. And he wants the science community leading the charge, not cops. Even DOJ's Francis Scott backed that, said setting a THC per set limit might never work scientifically, especially when chronic and occasional users show wildly different THC levels at similar buzz states. Most studies back the sentiment. A 2023 Lancet review looked at 12 studies and found no linear link between THC levels and driving performance. 10 out of the 12 showed no correlation. And NHTSA has been warning since 2015 THC levels don't predict impairment unlike alcohol. Real world effects. Big trouble for drivers and workers. In trucking, these outdated rules could be causing labor shortages. Commercial drivers are getting flagged even if they're not high. They just have to pass. They just have past THC metabolites in their system. Happened to a friend of ours in Australia. Mm-hmm. Some even refuse test. Number of refusals in 2023 jumped 39%. That's supply chain shanking fam. Oh, what's the message? If we're going to keep the roads and workplace safe and keep people fair, we got to drop the pseudoscience. It's time for valid, reliable impairment test. Think real-time psychometer checks or biomechanical markers that tie to actual functions, not random THC cutoffs or shoddy squeeze test. So yeah, don't let anyone tell you passing a roadside test, THC test means you're impaired. It's weak science. Weak sauce right there. Calls for better methods, smarter policy, and real fairness. And as are these lawyers that I've seen that are cannabis lawyers say, you get pulled over? What are you getting pulled over for? You ask the police officer? I know my rights. Don't say a fucking thing. You want your phone call. And let them take you to jail. And you call your lawyer.
They can't search your car.
No.
But they'll make you think that they can.
Yes, don't ever let them in your car.
They'll tell you that they can.
Don't ever let them in your car. Ever. Unless they got a warrant.
But if they
unless they bring a drug dog, then you're in trouble.
Right. If they physically see something on your seat, like if there was a package of edibles on your seat, or
as long as it's in the right package and sealed, they can't say shit.
But does that give them right to search your car if they see something?
Not that I know of.
I don't think
Unless
so.
they bring the dog. Well, listen, I went to PetSmart the other day, got Yuki some couple new toys, came out, and there was a car next to me parked, and they had their bong in their front seat.
You took a picture of it.
Fully packed and loaded and ready to go. I almost was like, damn, should I wait for this
person?
It
was packed, too.
Oh, it was packed. And it was in the seatbelt. and
the
in the seatbelt. And I was like, man, I should wait for this person
Yeah.
to fucking take a picture with them and fucking do a rip out in the parking lot.
Oh my God, you should have.
That'd be great. Oh shit, that was funny as hell. I showed you the picture right the other night.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was laughing. Weed study may ease disease devastation.
Yes.
Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Marijuana has been used therapeutically for thousands of years. Countless studies have tested the plant's ability to ease both physical and mental conditions, and it's been used and endorsed by many in the process. The majority of states have legalized medical cannabis, and the University of Maryland School of Medicine, or UMSOM, UMSOM, is attempting to lead the charge on a new health-based use for cannabis, and that is lessening dementia-related agitation at the end of life. Dementia is a devastating syndrome that affects over 57 million people and is the seventh leading cause of death among older people
57
globally.
million people. That's crazy.
a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
It is a term that encapsulates several progressive diseases that affect memory, thinking, and cognitive abilities. It also greatly affects the overall psyche, causing personality changes, increasing anxiety and sadness, and worsening confusion as the disease progresses. According to the UMSOM palliative medicine program, medications like morphine, Valium, and Haldol are typically used to manage agitation in hospice-eligible dementia patients, but they are often ineffective or make symptoms worse. The study that UMSOM is conducting will focus on an investigational oral drug called T2C100. It contains both THC and CBD. Participants will be assigned either the drug or a placebo in a double-blind process, meaning neither participants nor clinicians know which they are given. And they will take it for 12 weeks. This study is important because there are no FDA-approved medications to manage agitation at the end of life in dementia. Oh my God, I think cannabis would be game-changing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
More than half of people with dementia will receive hospice care, and 70% of those patients are given psychotropic medications to manage agitation, often with limited benefits and problematic side effects, said Raya Kirbach, MD, Principal Investigator and Division Chief of Geriatrics and Palliative Medicine at UMSOM and the University of Maryland Medical Center, in the study's press release. This study will be conducted at 12 other sites across the country. Families interested in participating can either contact UMSOM or visit the Libby website to find other trial locations. The website, I found it, and it is Libby, Libby, study.org. People love marijuana for a plethora of reasons. And if this study is successful...
Is it a plethora or plethora? What'd you say?
Plethora.
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 Plethora. I like to enunciate in my own way. It's like my own language, Mr. Weedman. Come on. People love marijuana for a plethora of reasons. And if this study is successful, the quality of life for an entirely new population could potentially be improved by the plant. Dementia is one of the most, I don't remember how to say it. It's one of the most destructive conditions in the world. I shouldn't make light of it because it's not funny. And this study could change millions of lives.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I could just, I mean, what harm would it do? I mean, if you're going to give these people Valium and all these...
Give them weed.
Yeah, just give them fucking
Hell
weed.
Yeah. Give them a lot of it.
Yeah. Just
Not
get
as much
baked.
as
Not
a
like the
mocktail
honey.
but give them a lot of it.
But-
like every day,
yeah.
like give them a dose every day.
Mhm.
So you want to light up a joint while we go into political, state, and business news?
Sure do.
Big Cannabis is riding a mellow wave. Small in Germany, small decriminalized space is the new hope, but it's more sprinkled in the storm. So, yep, big weeds vibes, chill, not lit, not a rocket. Oversupply, price drops, red tape, stalled legalization have tanked major firms from $37 billion in 2021 to just $4 billion now, and revenue multiplies are down too. That's across the globe. So, and big cannabis, meaning like MSOs, are down. Their revenue is down across the world, and Germany is the only space that has a little bit of hope right now. So, Florida cannabis market is crumbling. Medical sales flat. or dipping. Revenue barely budged, 1.4% up in April. From 2024, then fell 0.5% in March, 2.7% in April, and 0.5% in May. June just plus 7%. MSOs are sweating. Stock indices are down 50 to 62%. Yeah, they are. Voters axed adult use in 24, intensifying the slump. Big ops are squeezed. Competition's brutal. Florida not quite sinking, but it ain't flying high either. Chill, everybody. We need to get that vote on the ballot for 26, and hopefully you will see Florida be one of the top states in the country for cannabis. Massachusetts just hit resume on social equity cannabis programs after a year-long pause, kicking off virtual training in September and reopening applications August 1st. About 229 hopefuls hit hard by the war on drugs will finally get industry support, regulatory help, and free breaks. Budget's tight, $19 million versus $30 million requested, but advocates are cheering. Finally, real paths for cannabis corner hopefuls. Let's vibe on that, Mrs. Weedman. Puff, puff, pass. New Jersey just unlocked its 4 cannabis consumption lounges. High Rollers, Sunnyton, Ginseng, and Urban, marking a major milestone for safe, legal, on-site use. Chairs say it's perfect for folks who can't blaze at home. They want chill, compliant spaces. No alcohol, bring your own food, 21 plus. It's a huge vibe shift, supporting social equity, boosting revenue, and giving the Jersey scene a fresh spark. Illinois, can you just get with the fucking program? Illinois still hasn't regulated intoxicating hemp, aka Delta 8 and PALs, despite 3 years of failed bills and Governor Pritzker calls to close the loophole and endangers kids and undercuts adult use cannabis. Hemp farms want testing, packaging rules, and minimum age laws, but lawmakers couldn't agree on licensing or THC limits, so the unregulated Delta 8 and Wild Wild West lives on. Kids access unchecked, adult use edged out. It's a little chaos. Little chaos. Delaware's rec market launches August 1st, but only 6 existing medical dispensaries get first dibs, new licenses. They're benched, missing inspections or zoning green lights. Critics say this cements the big 6 locally, keeps prices high, lines long, and sidelines small and equity entrants. State officials argue it's just fastest way to open, but fairness, that's where the debate begins. Feds just affirmed the gun ban for marijuana users, but courts must now do individualized checks. No blanket strikes. Judges say not all stoners are dangerous. They'll weigh how recent or heavy your use was. So if you're a chilled consumer, you might still keep your peace. Bottom line, your rights depend on your vibe and your lawyer's flow and your cash. Hey fam, big news. Omaha Tribe of Nebraska just legalized cannabis for both rec and medical use, effective immediately on tribal land. Title 51 sets up licensing testing, expunges past tribal offenses, and prioritizes community benefits, health, housing, and jobs. They're flexing sovereignty, stepping in while Nebraska drags its feet. Sales could kick off on reservation early 2026. Tribal vibes equals Trailblazers energy boom. The Omaha Tribe of Nebraska, I'm proud of you because you did what your fellow tribe members in Minnesota did and said, fuck you, we're not waiting on your law. We can do what we want to do on tribal land. Same thing in North Carolina. Where they opened up theirs, right on the border up there, North NC. If the federal government and your state governments will not get their shit together for what the people want, let it go back to the people that once owned this land. I think it's fucking great. Just like all the casinos. So hopefully you use the money right and wisely and you take care of your own. I'm proud of you for telling Nebraskans, go visit that tribe. Go spend your money there. Your government does not care about you and what you voted for. Boom. Vermont cannabis industry is assessing potential storm damage effect after recent storm weather. Growers are evaluating crop losses, infrastructure impacts, while regulators consider emergency measures. It's a challenging time for the Green Mountain State. Budding industry, but resilience is key. Stay tuned as this navigates through turbulent times. Explore how Vermont's cannabis community is bouncing back from the storm. In a wild political twist, Trump just signed the Halt Fentanyl Act, tightening fentanyl penalties, but also opening the door for research on Schedule I substances. That's cannabis, psychedelics, and more In a mixed bag, stricter laws on one hand, but potential for more studies on the other. So while the crackdown's real, the research window just cracked open. Now over to you, Mrs. Weedman, with political, state, and business news.
Yes. Michigan's courts got wild with weed laws. Over 1,000 plants equals a misdemeanor. But a woman with 20 pounds of weed and cash faces what? 7 years in prison. That's right. Because of the 1978 law.
Is it because she's a woman?
No, it's because she has weed in her hand and money.
I thought they were like.
But you could grow, and it's a misdemeanor. Go figure.
Go figure.
The Supreme Court is staying quiet, but Justice Bolden calls for fairness and clarity. Growing versus selling, the punishments are all over the place. Makes you wonder who's really getting burned here. New York's cannabis scene is all about edibles right now. 40% of consumers prefer them over vapes and flower. Price is the top factor in buying decisions, followed by effects and convenience. Looks like gummies and chocolates are the go-to for the Empire State crew. The California State Fair just flipped their script, handing out cannabis seeds for a penny at the Cannabis Experience exhibit. Thousands already snagged their seed pack to start a backyard grow. Embark's Dustin Moore says it's all about normalizing cannabis responsibly. And Scott Vasterling from Humboldt Family Farms adds, it's a weed, literally. So if you're in Cali, grab a seed and get growing. I think that's really cool that they have a cannabis experience at the state fair.
Yeah, I think
That's
great.
Awesome. New York's cannabis scene. We're back to New York. They just hit a snag. 3 batches of harvest flower from East End Flower Farm got recalled due to pesticide levels being above state limits. Testing lab Lexicrom Analytical banned them. No reports of illness yet, but the state's Office of Cannabis Management is playing it safe. So this is a public service announcement. If you are holding secret number 9, Lemon Haze, or Pure Michigan from East End Flower Farm or Harvest Flower, then you better check your stash and be sure that it is safe to consume. Michigan's cannabis regulators are on a roll. 928 violations in 2024, racking up $3.72 million in fines. Yep, they can't just take the tax revenue, right? Let's make them it's just dumb. $3.72 million in fines, 928 violations in Michigan, where cannabis is legal. And they are leading the nation in enforcement actions. That's about 37% of all of the national infractions for cannabis.
Crazy.
37% is happening in Michigan. From record keeping to operation, no one is safe. Looks like the state is keeping the industry on its toes.
Over 800 dispensaries in Michigan, too.
Yeah. So they're just having a field day with
yeah.
it. So there's like double dipping. We'll get them here, we'll get them there.
Yep.
And then we'll get everyone on the backside.
Yep.
The USDA just dropped a truth bomb. Its plant database calls cannabis, what do they call it? Medicinal. Yep, that's right. Even though the feds still list it as a Schedule I drug with no acceptable medical use. Fucking. Talk about a mixed message. Yes, that leaves me speechless, really. As more agencies acknowledge its therapeutic benefits, the question remains, when will federal policy catch up with science? Come on, guys. As of January 2025, Missouri courts have expunged over 140,000 marijuana-related cases following the passage of Amendment 3 in November of 2022, which legalized recreational cannabis and mandated the removal of nonviolent marijuana offenses from criminal records. Missouri, that's awesome. They rolled out well. They've been doing well with their cannabis infrastructure.
They've had some issues, though. They've had their issues, early on issues. You know, they had the oil gate, as everyone called it.
Yeah.
You know, they had every new industry has their.
But they're doing all right. It's pretty quiet. Like you don't hear a ton about they're doing just great.
They're fair with their taxes.
Mm-hmm.
They are very fair with their taxes. There's more coming out about you're not gonna be able to double dip anymore in taxes either. I'll talk about that next week, I think. So they're doing
good.
I like what they do.
And look at this.
Yeah.
So while the majority of expungements have been processed, some counties continue to work through backlogs, particularly with old paper records. The expungement process is largely automatic for individuals no longer under correctional supervision. However, there is a $250 filing fee for those who wish to petition the court for expungement. This fee may be waived for individuals who are indigent. Wow.
Sound it out.
Yeah. And unable to pay. I'm sorry. Looking ahead, Missouri has enacted legislation to further streamline the expungement process. Beginning August 28th of 2028, all records eligible for expungement will be automatically closed without the need for a petition. That's wonderful. This initiative, because $250 could prevent someone from getting their record expunged.
Yeah.
And so I think that's great. The initiative aims to reduce barriers to employment and housing, and that's exactly why, for individuals with eligible offenses on their records. If you have a marijuana-related conviction, you may be eligible for expungement. You can check your eligibility and find more information on the Missouri Judiciary website or consult with a legal professional for assistance. The senior squad is stepping up their game. 7% of folks over 65 are now using cannabis, up from 4.8% in 2021. They're turning to it for chronic pain, sleep, and stress relief. Brands like Verano are hosting lunch and learns, while Tommy Chong and Whoopi Goldberg are repping the 60 and older crew. The message? It's wellness, not just a trend. So if you're over 60 and curious, it is time to explore. Get some weed.
Also, everyone, you're making mistakes out there. Three fastest growing humans in the industry are 65 and up, actually 55 and up. Gen Z women and moms. Get them off the wine. Get them on a 2.5 milligram gummy or a little doggy walker. You're missing the boat. If you're not focusing, looking at that, us guys, we're going to smoke. A lot of us that have been smoking for a long time. We tell our buddy, go smoke this weed, they'll go buy it. It's not hard. But those three categories of the market, if you're not focusing on them right now and you're not learning what they want, need, desire, what they look for, what they want, cannabis drinks, edibles, small joints, low THC, higher CBD, other high THCV in there. We just talked about that one article. You have to know your audience at all times, and we're failing because all we care about is high THC, which none of that group wants. Think about it, peeps.
Yep.
You want to get more people into the vibe of the cannabis world. You want people to understand it better, learn better, grow better, enjoy it. Look at your market and know your trends and where it's coming from. What'd you say that, Ms. Weedman? What do you always say? You always want to be ahead of a trend, not behind the trend?
Yeah, not following it.
Right. You've said that today, actually. You did.
I did.
About 3 hours ago.
I was mad.
You were. So.
All right. Michigan's border towns are caught in a green dilemma. Coldwater's got 13 dispensaries. Menominee's got 7. And they're popping, but at what cost? Residents like Fred Hoffer Jr. say it feels like the town's all about weed, not family life. Meanwhile, Richard Kerrigan drove 90 minutes from Indiana to check out Coldwater's scene. These towns are cashing in, but how about the existing community's feelings? That's up for debate. In Colorado, you can puff. I get that because there are like border towns that have completely transformed.
Oh my God.
From
New Buffalo.
Yes.
There's 12, 15? 12,
At
15?
one highway exit, there's like 12 or 15 dispensaries.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
It's
the
stupid.
competition is
It's just
nuts.
stupid.
Yeah.
You don't make any money. It's not fair.
And so for the people who live there and have to go through that intersection and have to get off at those ramps and be inconvenienced by the gazillion of cars.
Spread it out.
I'm sure that it has changed their lives and maybe not in a preferred way.
For some, yeah.
Yeah. In Colorado, you can puff on your porch unless your landlord says no.
Screw you, landlord.
State law allows cannabis consumption on private property, but rental property owners can ban it. Cities like Denver and Longmont have licensed cannabis lounges for public consumption, but most places still don't allow smoking in public. So check your lease and your local laws before you light up outside. And that's that.
Back over to me. Marijuana sales have raised almost $3 billion in tax revenue according to Colorado Department of Revenue. In its monthly marijuana sales and tax revenue report, the Department of Revenue figures show that tax revenue since legalization reached almost $3 billion after sales in June generated $19 million. Good for you, Colorado. New York City is making moves to become the cannabis capital of the globe. At the inaugural New York City Cannabis Festival in Harlem, Mayor Eric Adams announced the opening of 175 legal dispensaries and emphasized that reducing barriers for new businesses. The goal, equity and accessibility in communities historically impacted by cannabis prohibition. Harlem's hosting the first fair, but the city's vision is citywide. Let's keep lighting up New York. Washington's got green mystery on its hands. A new study by the RAND Corporation reveals that licensed farms and processors might be growing and processing 2 or 3 times more cannabis than what's being sold in stores. The data's tracking system, managed by a Liquor and Cannabis Board, leaves a lot of room for uncertainty about where the excess product ends up. Lawmakers are pushing for a better system, but the board says it might take until 2027 to roll it out. I know where it's going, because your damn tax revenue is the highest in the country at almost 40%. They're giving what Caesar deserves, and they're selling some out the back door. That's what I would fucking do.
That's your opinion.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's what I would do. I don't know what they're doing out in Seattle, but if I had excess,
yeah,
I need to make my nut, and almost 40% of my profits going to Caesar. I'd be like, hey, come
CBD?
to the back door. yeah, it's hemp.
Or hemp. It's hemp flower. Would you like to sell it at your smoke
see
shop?
Me at the back door. I got you. I only sell pounds, though.
It's the gray area.
Yeah,
Business development.
Yes, as Mr. Weedman has said for years. Washington got green. I already talked about that. Sorry. Cannabis hospitality is leveling up from the novelty of necessity. Cannabis lounges, once a gimmick, are now global business, attracting tourists and locals alike. From Amsterdam to Los Angeles, these venues offer curated experiences, blending cannabis culture with luxury. So whether you're a seasoned enthusiast or a curious newcomer, the cannabis hospitality scene is ready to welcome you. Let's light up and explore. Illinois, I just read 3 different states that have lounges. Mm-hmm. We had some friends that we know that are trying to get a pass.
Yep.
Like the dolphin. You know. So yeah, I don't understand something. Illinois, you're so blue in some ways, and in some ways you're so ass backwards in so many ways. You just it doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. You don't make any sense to me. You're so just all about profits and margins and money in your pocket.
But the reason a lot of it has been stalled is that they don't have rules for public consumption. Like you've got when you're in bar or restaurant business, I know, but not everybody knows. Like when you own a bar or a restaurant, you have DRAM insurance, and that DRAM insurance removes your liability for the drunk person who gets in their car and gets in an accident on the way home. You served them, but they're an adult.
But you're not serving them.
You're not. You're just
not. It's just a place to consume.
No. Wait. I'm talking about alcohol.
Oh,
I'm talking about alcohol.
Sorry.
Bars, restaurants, DRAM insurance, so that the drunk person who gets into some sort of exchange of
can't sue the bar.
Right? It removes your liability. There is nothing like that for cannabis, and so the rebuttal has been that they just don't know how to handle the liabilities that be. Like we don't know how someone, if they're intoxicated, like number one, we wouldn't be able to sell on site. Nobody would be able to sell. It would just be consumption, like a cigar club where you're just going to, well, cigar clubs sell. Anyway, just a consumption space. So you have to have some other avenue of income to make the business thrive because you're not selling cannabis.
Coffee, food.
So food, entertainment, things to do,
cover
activities.
Charge at the door.
Yes, there's lots of ways. Right.
Gaming.
Right. But there's this liability issue that seems to be a hang up with a lot of places.
Right.
And then the no public smoking issue. But again, lounges, smoking club, like cigar clubs can have on-site smoking.
Hookah bars.
And hookah bars can. And vape shops can.
Yeah.
So there are rules in place to make those things happen with proper ventilation, and you can't have, it being a pass-through room where anybody that comes in your business can, be influenced by the smoke.
Right.
So it just has to be an enclosed space
Right.
with ventilation and fire safety.
Yes.
Pretty simple. Come on, Illinois.
Get your shit together.
Sorry, that was a stoner rant.
That was pretty good, though. Smoke some more of
Hopefully
that weed.
I made a point. I don't
You
even
did.
know. Did I?
Yes. The Senate's keeping it chill for medical cannabis states. They passed a spending bill that extends protections for states with medical marijuana programs, ensuring that the feds stay out of their business. But unlike the House version, the bill doesn't block the Justice Department from rescheduling cannabis. Also, Nebraska's missing from the list of covered states. Looks like the green wave's got some red tape to navigate. Milwaukee stepping up its game. The city's common council just passed rules banning anyone under 21 from buying the THC gummies, drinks, or edibles. Why? A kid got sold a 600 milligram gummy and ended up like Mr. Weedman and Mrs. Weedman on the couch for a couple of days.
Poor kid.
Straight Wild West vibe. Alderman Peter Burgelis says it's time to regulate hemp THC products to ensure purity and potency. Fines up to $1,000 per sale are now in play. Milwaukee's keeping it responsible. Republican lawmakers are playing a tug of war with voter-approved cannabis laws. In Florida, they blocked medical access for some with past drug convictions. Ohio's GOP is trying to roll back adult use legalization, including home cultivation rights. In Pennsylvania, House Democrats are urging voters to pressure GOP senators to pass the legalization bill. Looks like the green wave got a little bit of tape to navigate. Yo, the feds just hit pause on a marijuana cultivation contract. Why? Cost-cutting order from Trump's Department of Governmental Efficiency. We talked about this last week. University of Ole Miss. Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. The contract was set to supply cannabis for a research purpose. Now it's on hold. Experts say the move could delay studies on cannabis medical benefits. Looks like the green light's turning yellow, folks. On pause. So I have a feeling that the government will take this contract back again and keep it extended just because it's foolish. You have this college that's been doing it for over 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just when they were doing all these cuts, they were just looking to cut everything and then figure it out and later after they fucked it all up.
Re-implement it later.
Yes, after they fucked it all up and realized, oh, we fucked up a lot. We need to bring back some of the stuff. So that's just my opinion. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Or they could just be complete fucking foolish, Texas is turning up the heat. Alamo Bud Company is hosting the People vs. SB3 rally on August 16th in San Antonio. This grassroots event aims to educate and unite the community against Senate Bill 3, which threatens to criminalize all THC products outside the medical program. Expect live music, vendors, and insightful talks from cannabis experts. It's all about the awareness and advocacy with a touch of fun. I was just reading today. I do the show. I put the show together on Mondays. We record on Tuesdays. So today's Tuesday. Like I said, rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. There was like 10 articles about Texas. Just all came out within the last like 3 or 4 hours before we started recording. About still want to ban hemp. Still fighting to ban hemp. Still trying to figure out what they're going to do with hemp. Still trying to, there's still so much. They're saying that Abbott is for banning it THC. He just didn't ban it this time because they got to figure out the industry. How much $9 billion industry. You can't just shut that up.
Right.
Texas, just start a better medical program or do a fucking med rec program and let all these people that have been selling hemp get into the legal cannabis, tax it, regulate it. It'll still be a $9 billion industry. Just switch it over to instead of cannabis light, turn it into fucking cannabis regular. Just do it. Get it done. My gosh, what the hell's your problem? Your folks want it. They're going to get it regardless whether you legalize it or not. Doesn't anybody in this fucking government understand that? We're going to get it no matter what you do. You've been trying to fight us since 1937 and you fail every year and all you do is waste money failing at it. You're a failure. This government, not just the one, all of them have failed. You failed the American people and people around the world. You failed us. And you keep on failing us because you don't listen to us. You do what you think you want to do, and you don't listen to anybody. I told you a few episodes ago, I don't care. I don't believe in any of these governments anymore because they all lie and cheat and steal. So I don't care. You lie, you cheat, and you steal from your constituents. All you care about is our vote. So we get you where you want to be at so you can take over and do whatever the fuck you want. You all suck. Period. How's your favorite weed brand doing on the dispensary shelves, Mrs. Weedman? How do they get on the okay? This is actually clutch. If you're a consumer and you go to the dispensaries and you don't see your favorite brand there, and I'm going to give you reasons why. Okay, there is, and then Mrs. Weedman's going to go into this article. There is the cultivation. There is the dispensary. Well, let's go cultivation, transporter, dispensary, consumer. Okay. Now, let's just say there's 155 edible brands in your state, and there's 250 stores. That's a lot. That's a crazy it's a lot of gummies to be in only 250 stores. You're not going to get carried in every one of those stores. Just not going to work. The buyers are going to carry what sells. The buyers are going to carry what relationships they have with the salesperson. The buyer is going to like what they like, and then they're going to see if the profitability, the margins is all going to work out for their store. So they'll bring it in. If it doesn't work, they bring in another brand. If it doesn't work, they bring. So you might have got used to that brand, right, Mr. Weedman? You like a gummy brand, you like a flower brand, but now that store doesn't have it. So what do? Do you find another brand and start over? Try a bunch to see what you like, or do you go to a dispensary that you see online that carries that brand you like?
It depends on the consumer.
Yeah.
It depends on the location of the next dispensary.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot a lot that goes into it. So tell us about how your favorite weed brand gets to the dispensary shelves.
Yes. When you're a kid, you might wonder how your favorite toy magically appears on the store shelves. And as you get older, maybe you start to understand how clothes, electronics, and groceries make their way through complicated supply chains before ending up in your shopping cart. But have you ever stopped to think about how cannabis products get to dispensary shelves? The journey from seed to sale in the cannabis industry is one of the most complex and fascinating supply chains in the consumer economy. Federal prohibition, evolving state regulations, and the highly specialized nature of the product have led to the creation of an entirely new category of wholesale marketplaces, compliance technologies, and retail systems. At the heart of this ecosystem is the wholesale cannabis marketplace, a behind-the-scenes world where growers, processors, brands, and retailers buy and sell products long before consumers see them. Companies like LeafLink have become a key digital infrastructure supporting this part of the industry. And while most consumers may never see these platforms, they're essential to ensuring products are available when you walk into your local shop. The seed-to-sale journey starts, as you'd expect, with a seed. Licensed cultivators grow cannabis under controlled conditions, indoors, in greenhouses, or outdoors, depending on each state's regulations. After weeks of growth, the plants are harvested, dried, cured, and trimmed. But flower is only one part of the market. Much of what consumers buy today, like edibles, vapes, tinctures, topicals, they require further processing. Extraction labs turn raw cannabis into oils and concentrates, and edible manufacturers infuse gummies, chocolates, and beverages, and co-packers help small brands produce at scale. Before hitting shelves, every product must go on and pass rigorous third-party lab testing. Labs test for potency, pesticides, heavy metals, mold, and more.
Hold on. So potency is a big one. You know, if you're off in your state, that can set that product back from getting into that dispensary weeks. You know, that sucks too. My little summary was just quick and simple, but that's a big one. What Mrs. Weedman just read, it could take your product off the shelf for anywhere between 2 to 3 to 4 weeks sometimes,
and you could get replaced.
Yeah,
in
real
that
quick in that time period
because new products are like constantly coming out on the market.
There's in a dispensary, which you don't see, there's something called a vault. It's in the back room. It's a locked vault. Everything is marked and labeled, right? You have a spot in that vault. You earned your place in that dispensary's vault if you're a brand. You either making that dispensary money, or you're collecting dusts and you're at the bottom of the shelf now. And they're just going to ask you to take the product back, or can we use it as giveaways because it's not moving?
Mm-hmm.
It's just part of the thing. So you have to understand, if you're not if you like that brand, support that brand and buy their gummies or buy their flour or buy whatever concentrates, so they stay on that shelf. Just it happens. You've been a shopper for a very long time, right? You shop at box stores, you shop at department stores, you shop online. You see products come and go, right?
Mm-hmm.
You like, how many times you've seen a product in the top shelf, then it's in the middle, and it's at the bottom collecting dust because it just doesn't sell, and they have 5 cases of it that they can't get rid of, kind of thing, right? Have you seen that on grocery store shelves? Yeah. You know the paper trail.
All right. So accurate labeling then and safe consumption all hinges on this lab testing. Unlike most consumer goods, cannabis is tracked at every step, literally. Seed to sale tracking systems are mandatory in nearly every legal state. Platforms like BioTrack and Metric log and follow the entire life of each plant and product. Think about that. Each plant is tracked from seed to sale, and every ancillary product from planting to sale. So each plant gets a barcode or RFID tag. Every stage, the harvesting, testing, transporting, wholesaling, selling, it is all recorded. This oversight helps regulators ensure products stay in the legal market and meet all safety standards. These systems also create complexity. Operators must stay compliant while managing a fast-moving business. That's where platforms like LeafLink play a bigger role. Beyond connecting buyers and sellers, they integrate with seed-to-sale tracking to ensure transactions and logistics stay compliant. Orders, shipments, invoices, they can all sync directly with state systems. LeafLink also helps address other longstanding industry pain points, including access to banking, streamlined payments, and supply chain transparency, making it easier for businesses to operate efficiently and within the law. The only technology most consumers actually see is at the dispensary itself. When you browse a menu online, order ahead, or pay at the register, you're likely interacting with a point-of-sale platform like Dutchie, which powers many storefronts across the country. Dutchie sits at the very end of the journey, but it's connected to everything that came before. Inventory systems, compliance reporting, wholesale orders, all of it feeds into what you see on the screen or in front of your bud tender. In many ways, Dutchie is the front-facing layer of a deep and complex technology stack. Walk into a dispensary and see hundreds of products, and it's easy to forget the coordination required to get them there. Behind each product is a network of cultivators, processors, labs, distributors, regulators, marketplaces, and retailers, all working together to stock shelves and keep operations compliant. Wholesale platforms help streamline what would otherwise be a fragmented, chaotic system. Retailers can manage multiple brands in one place, and brands can reach new stores without chasing leads. Payments, testing records, shipping logistics, all under one digital roof. In an industry with tight margins and high regulatory pressure, efficiency isn't just nice, it is necessary. And most consumers just want safe, high-quality, consistent products. But none of that can happen without the invisible infrastructure behind the scenes. When you buy your favorite gummy or pre-roll, you are experiencing that final step of a much longer journey. LeafLink, BioTrack, Dutchie, they may not be household names, but they make the cannabis industry work. And as legalization continues to evolve and federal reform inches closer, this behind-the-scenes infrastructure will only become more vital. So the next time you step into a dispensary, take a moment to appreciate not just the product in your hand, but the vast, coordinated ecosystem that got it there.
Yeah, it's a lot. Takes a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
Flour, concentrates, edibles, vapes. the process of where it starts from, like they said, seed to sale. There's a lot that goes in between. I try to simplify it, but there's a lot that goes in this industry. Can be the best industry in the world sometimes, and sometimes it can be fucking crash and burn. You're like, ah.
But all of that, I mean, it has, put a lot of jobs and workforce power out there. I mean, it's all good in a lot of ways. But if you think about any other industry, we always talk about the parallel of the liquor industry and how cannabis should just be regulated like liquor. Could you imagine if liquor, every ingredient in liquor had to be labeled at its point of origination? Crazy. And then every batch of every liquor had to go through lab testing.
Yep.
And if everything wasn't perfectly compliant, the whole batch would get through. I mean, that would never happen. So I can only hope, although then there will be a loss of jobs, but maybe there won't be because there will be increase of sales and distribution, that once we go federally legal, a lot of this bullshit regulation could just drop off.
I hope.
I mean, the cost to open a dispensary is cost prohibitive. So how do you have equity, social equity, when there's no entry point that is viable for any human being?
Like 20 people to open up a dispensary in
Illinois. And then you have to keep yourself afloat for the year that it takes to get your feet off the ground.
Sometimes two.
And fucking millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So if all this regulation bullshit could drop off and treat it like a liquor store and treat it like a brewery and make the whole system more normalized, it would be better for everybody.
Such a young industry still too, but we still have to go through so much shit.
Yeah. It's impressive that they have created this system.
Yeah.
And there's just
still a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Yep. International news. Hey, folks, big news from north of the border. Veterans Affairs Canada has reimbursed over $1 billion in medical cannabis since 2011, covering more than 143 million grams of veterans and eligible RCMP members. In the 2024-2025 fiscal year alone, they compensated nearly $245 million for over 30,000 kilograms of cannabis. The program continues to grow, supporting over 27,000 veterans. That's a green salute right there. Slovenia just flipped the script on the cannabis policy. The National Assembly approved a groundbreaking medical cannabis laws, making it one of Europe's most progressive. The bill legalizes cultivation, production, and distribution for medical and scientific use. It also removes cannabis and THC from the prohibited drug list, introduces a non-restrictive licensing system, and allows prescriptions via regular medical channels. Patients will receive a cannabis card for pharmacy pickups. The move positions Slovenia as a leader in the cannabis reform. The EU is rolling out one of the green carpet for hemp. Agriculture-focused MEPs are pushing to lift national ban on non-intoxicating hemp cannabis. The goal to harmonize cultivation rules across member states, making hemp farming more accessible and efficient. The move could boost the EU's hemp industry and pave the way for more sustainable agricultural practices. Looks like the hemp's future in Europe is looking a little bit brighter. Hey, hemp enthusiasts, listen up. The global hemp fiber market is set to soar past $30 billion by 2033. Growing at a robust 20.12% annually. That's great. This surge is driven by rising demand for sustainable composites in industries like automotive and construction. China leads the production, but Europe and North America are catching up fast. Looks like the hemp's future is greener than ever. Big news for Prague. President Peter Pavel just signed the bill decriminalizing recreational cannabis for personal use and home cultivation. Adults can now legally grow up to 3 plants and possess up to 100 grams at home or 25 grams in public. The law also allows psilocybin for medical use, marking a significant shift in Czech drug policy. Reforms take effect in 2026. Hold up, fucking hold up, Malta. Cannabis scene just hit a snag. Despite being the first EU country to legalize personal cannabis use, the government is now sending threat letters to consumers over nuances, odors, stinky weed, skunky weed. The Authority for the Responsible Use of Cannabis is warning users that their homegrown plants could lead to fines if neighbors complain. Critics argue this move punishes responsible users instead of addressing deeper issues like housing density and social stigma.
So it's the smell of the plant growing,
Yep. That's just such a beautiful smell.
I know.
cannabis enthusiasts, Germany's medical cannabis market is booming, and Canadian companies are leading the charge. In Q1 of 2025, Canada supplied 43% of Germany's imported dried flower. U.S., we'd be supplying a lot of weed to a lot of countries, and so much money, like so much of this waste can be set abroad. Be amazing. We just need to get our shit together. They nearly doubled the exports, with patient numbers soaring and prices lower than the illicit market. Canadian producers like Origami and Decibel are capitalizing on this growth, posting major gains and expanding margins. Germany is now the key growth market for Canadian cannabis exporters. Alberta cannabis scene just got a major upgrade. The Alberta Gaming, Liquor, and Cannabis Commission has announced that cannabis sales are now permitted at concerts and festivals. Man, Canada just killing it. Even those with minors present. Sales must occur in designated 18-plus zones, ensuring they're responsible, enjoyable experiences for the attendees. Plant Life Cannabis is already leading the way, setting up shop at events like Rocking Thunder in Edmonton. Get ready for the greener summer. Argentina's cannabis industry is sparking economic hope. A recent report estimates a fully regulated market could generate $1.7 billion annually, creating 62,000 jobs comparable to the country's automotive sector. Medical cannabis alone can contribute $834 million in sales, $216 million in tax revenue. However, outdated regulations still hinder growth, leaving many patients relying on unregulated cannabis products. Advocates call for modern regulatory frameworks to unlock the industry's potential. Hold on to your hats, cannabis enthusiasts. Turkey's parliament has just released a groundbreaking bill allowing sales of medical cannabis products in pharmacies. Under this new law, cultivation and harvesting will be overseen by the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, while the health minister will handle processing, licensing, and distribution. Sales would be strictly confined to licensed pharmacies, ensuring safety and traceable through the electronic monitoring system. Good for you, Turkey. All the international news was great, except for Malta. Sorry, Malta. We love music.
Yeah.
I know what I'll be listening to in the car tomorrow, maybe even going to bed tonight. But there's some good songs out there about cannabis. 33 of them on this article talks about, and I'm sure there's another 333 more, and maybe 420 more out there too that everyone enjoys. Probably.
Yeah, we've had some other
other lists,
best of weed songs lists before, but this is another good one.
Tell us about it, Miss Weedman.
Yeah, most people like to set the scene before they smoke. Maybe they put on a movie or get their favorite snacks out. Even if you don't have time for big preparations like that, the least you can do is put on a little music and vibe. Marijuana has been integrated into creative spaces for as long as it has existed, and as a result, there are a bunch of songs dedicated to celebrating the plant. If you ever want to feel entirely immersed in the cannabis community through music, here's a list of the best songs about weed. So these are the classics, and I'm just going to give you like a few of them, and when I post the episode, I will put a link to this article so you can see the full list. So classics like If You're a Viper, Mr. Weedman, one of your favorites.
One of my faves.
By Fats Waller. Yep.
Mr. G sings it every year on 420.
Yep. And Legalize It by Peter Tosh. And Reefer Man by Cab Calloway. Or how about Mary Jane by Rick James?
Yeah, I love you.
As you can see from the song so far, singing and rapping about weed isn't new. Even with the increased stigma around the plant before legalization efforts took off around the country, one thing America can't resist is a good song. Songs like Let's Go Get Stoned reached #1 on the R&B charts and reached the top half of the Billboard Hot 100 in 1966, and others found mainstream success as early as the 1930s. These early songs about weed often ridiculed the government's crackdown on the plant, especially within artist spaces. Medical marijuana was first legalized in the U.S. in 1996 in California. The 1980s and 90s are seen as an iconic time for culture in general, and especially music. As talks of legal use of the plant picked up around this time, iconic songs about cannabis were bound to sprout up. If you're in search of that pre-Y2K vibe while listening to songs about weed, here are a few to cue up. My favorite, Gin and Juice by Snoop Dogg, Because I Got High by Afro Man, and Let's Get High by Dr. Dre. How about You Don't Know How It Feels by Tom Petty, too. There's more on the list. You'll see it in the link. And as weed has become a more normal part of life and less scandalous topic of conversation, artists have continued to make it a topic of their art. You've probably heard many of these songs in the past few years, but perhaps you forgot about these culturally defining tunes about the plant. We've got Broccoli by Dram, Still Blazin' by Wiz Khalifa, and Medication by Damian Marley. So, next time you start to roll up or have friends over to indulge in the plant, refer back to this list of perfect songs for a good laugh, then sit back and enjoy the vibe of the night.
I love music. Generals gathered in their masses. Gonna be playing that tonight before bed. Get all wound up. We'll wrestle later.
All right. I'd
like to thank Midwest Terps Throne for the cause. Appreciate the apples and bananas and apples, or apples and bananas Sunday. Great stuff. Got me nice and zooted for the show. And Mrs Weedman, as you like that joint, got anything else to say?
It makes me want to sing the Raffi song. I eat eeples and baninis. Oot to oot, ooples and banoonies.
That tape was on in the car.
I like to eat apples and bananas. Thanks, Midwest Terps. That's good weed. Whew, everybody have a great week. Stay safe. Be sweet.
Everybody out there in the world, we love you. Thanks for listening and supporting the show. We appreciate you out there. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff puffing away.
Puff, puff, puff.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.